Hello. Intros are always extremely awkward, so you know what? We're gonna make this as brief as possible. But anyways, I'm Sameeha. This is my YouTube channel. Feel free to subscribe if you haven't already, because you know what? I appreciate the support, A and B. And anyway, I'm going to be showing you guys how I edit my Instagram photos. My Instagram is sameeha. It'll be linked down below as well. And if you don't already follow me on there, I suggest you do, because it's a really fun time on there. And I also want to be like more active on like my stories and stuff. Let me know if I should do that. So before I begin talking about editing, I'm going to briefly talk about like the photo taking process. These are also tips if you want to have like a nice feed which is like really clear. But when I take photos, I try to make sure that like there's nothing like in the background, like it's not messy, like there's no people in the back, because I don't like having random people in the background on my photos. And you're probably like, well, what if I'm trying to take photos in public? Let me just tell you, I take photos in public all the time, and it's actually easier than you may think to take photos without people in it, because it's just kind of about the way that you angle your phone. Like it'll make more sense in the moment when you're taking these photos. Because I live in London and it's super busy, as you can imagine, but I don't know, it just kind of works. And if you like go into like a little side street and then there's like less people, and like if you just take a photo against a background, then like it's usually fine. And then sometimes if there's like the odd person in the photo, then I'll just like have them to be photoshopped out. Finding good lighting is really important, because just like good lighting will make your feed look amazing and will also make you look amazing and glowing. But I also have a tip on here. If like you've taken a photo and like you like the way you look and you like everything about it and you want to post it but the lighting's like not it, I have like this thing I do on VSco which like brightens your photo to like make it look like there's really good natural lighting, but like there's not. And by the way, the really good thing about the way I edit is that it's all free. I have VSco like premium, but the things that you can do on VSco, like you don't need the premium membership to do. You can just do it with the standard, and I've been doing these things for quite a while, and I only got the VSco premium membership recently. So usually when I take photos, I add them to my favorites, and when I see the photos I like. So as you can see, I have a ton of mirror selfies over here, and so what I do is I just click on the photo I like, and then I go to the import button at the bottom left, and I scroll down so that it says import to VSco, and I click on that and then click the tick. Then I head over to VSco, and as you can see it just appears there. And what I do is I start editing that. And so basically, if you can see, like at the very bottom, the third icon is kind of just like this circle with an arrow, and there I have like some saved like not filters, but just like presets which I've made. I just see which one fits the photo the best, and I'm gonna go with this third one. If I scroll down here, you can see what each individual like element's like number is. So I'll just go to them, but basically let me show you how the VSco editing works if you're not familiar with it. Just means that you just like straightness of it, but I think it's pretty straight. But you can use that tool if like your friend or something has taken a video or like a photo and like it's a bit wonky, then you can always straighten it out. Then the exposure is kind of just like the brightness of it. So as you can see, with that preset that I'd already made it minus 0.7, but basically when you make it a negative number it goes dark, and then when you make it a positive number it goes super bright. Usually I just kind of keep it like just below the 0, because I feel like it adds a nice contrast. And then speaking of contrast, I don't really do anything with that. Honestly, you can just put it at 0 if you want. And then the sharpen tool, so you just increase it, and then it just kind of makes the things in the photo like stand out more, but I don't really use that. And then clarity also kind of does a similar thing, but I don't use that either. And then saturation, so basically when you make it a positive number it makes it like really orange, and then when you make it a negative number it makes it really grey. And so I kind of have it like a little bit above the 0, but not so much, because we don't want to be looking like a sweet potato. Like, and then highlights I like to add, because basically this is what it looks like without highlights, and then when you add the highlights I just feel like it brings it all together. It's not that noticeable, but I like to have it. And then the shadows you can add, but I usually don't, but like if you have it up a little bit I think it still looks nice. So white balance, so at the top you have temperature and at the bottom you have tint. And so for temperature, if you make it a negative number, it makes it more like bluish, especially for outdoor photos. I really like to use this feature and make it like more yellow, and then it kind of looks like nice lighting, but this was an indoor photo so I didn't need to use that. And then for the tint, a negative number makes it green and a positive number makes it pink, and I kind of like to have a pinkish tone, and especially if you're wearing like blush or something, I think it really complements the photo nicely because it'll make like your blush stand out. And then for skin tone, so when you make it like negative, it makes it pink, and then when you make it positive, it makes it more like this lime like grey kind of colour, and if anything, I like to make it a little bit negative. And then the vignette, I don't know how to pronounce that, it just kind of like adds like a dark like shadow to the photo, but I don't really use this. And then grain, I know some people like to use it, and it basically like just adds a grain to your photo as suggested by the name. This can kind of work if like the photo you've taken is like a little bit like unclear, but also if you want to have like a grainy feed. Then the fade, as you can imagine, just like fades it out. I don't use that either. And then the split tone, I don't use either, nor do I use borders or text or anything. So I'm going to show you how the recipe feature works, and also like you can see what like fits the vibe of like your photo the best. So this is like, as you can see, there's quite like a lot of neutral tones in this photo, so I wouldn't want to have it like really saturated. I kind of want to have the like editing of the photo represent like the neutral like vibe of like, you know, the fountain for example. I can click on the recipe button and then press the plus button like that, and then it appears over there. As you can see, it's the first one to the left. I can go find my other photo, and now when I click on the recipe button, the first one that appears is my most recently saved recipe, and I can click on that and it'll just apply all the filters to that same one. So I'm now going to show you what to do if there's like a photo that you've taken and it's outside, but like the lighting isn't so good. So as you can see, there was some lighting, it's like you can see on my legs, but on my face there wasn't like really the best lighting. I mean, it's not that bad, but it could be better. So for exposure, you want to kind of like just make it like a little bit down, and then I mean honestly it's all about experimenting. Every photo has a different vibe to it and like different lighting, and even in like the same like photo shoot, like as in if you take like hundreds of photos in like the same period of 5 minutes, like I don't know about you, but the lighting can change like drastically. Like it can just be really cloudy in one moment and then sunny for like a second, and so like the photos can still vary. So it really just depends on like the individual photo. But yeah, so for contrast, I don't know, like maybe turn it down a little bit. So annoyingly, the screen recording cut out when I talked about saturation, but I basically said that you could turn it up a little bit just to make the photo less dull. And then you can go to highlights. I would just turn that up like a little bit, around 2, and then I'd leave the shadows. And then the white balance, so as you can see, the temperature can be really crucial here. So because there's like the bit where you can make it yellow, and if you kind of use that, like the photo just brightens up. And we don't want it to be like super yellow, but maybe like around just under 1. And then the tint, you can just like turn it up a little bit. And then the skin tone, you can just kind of play around with it, but again I like that rosy feel, so you can just make it go a little bit down. Let's add some green to it since we haven't done that to any of the photos. And then you can go to save to camera roll, and then if we just compare the 2 photos that we had, the before and after, it looks pretty good. And in case anyone was wondering, as for like disposable photos / film photos, I don't actually edit those. I just post those straight onto my feed, because I feel like the disposable look is pretty versatile and it works for most feeds. Like I've seen people with really like neutral feeds post it and it works, and then like people with saturated feeds, and I feel like if I edited it I'd be ruining the disposable look of it, and then it would just kind of defy the purpose. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope that this video was helpful to you. And if you didn't already use VSCO, I hope that this like taught you a little bit about VSCO so that you can now use it, and now that you know the basics. And if you already used VSCO, then I hope that maybe this showed you some new things that you didn't know about before, like the recipe thing, because I didn't know that that existed until pretty recently. And if you use any of the tips in this video for your next Instagram photo, or just like use VSCO even, feel free to tag me so that I can see your Instagram photo and hype you up. And yeah, I hope that this was helpful. I'll put all my socials in the description, and comment any video requests that you may have, and don't forget to subscribe. Okay, bye. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you later. Okay, this does not work on carpet. Oh, okay.